In this practice, we'll be assimilating actions that we learned in both the hip and the shoulder practices that were presented earlier. You'll find that by assimilating the tips and different techniques that you learn, to combine them all into a sequence is a wonderfully invigorating way to start your practice. We'll begin standing. Come to the top of your mat. Inhale, take your arms up. Exhale, come down to the earth. Just place your hands alongside your feet and step your right leg back. Bring your right knee down. Take your hands right on top of the knee. And let's do some hip opening as you just lower yourself in the lunge, as well as some shoulder openings. So take your arms in cactus pose. Take your hands back. Look up. Maybe reach back a little bit to get more opening, and exhale. Take your hands down, step your back foot forward, place your hands to your low back, rise up. Reach up to the sky and back. Exhale, take your hands down to the earth, step your left foot back, bring your left knee down. Take your hands right above your knee, settle in to get a nice hip opening. Take your arms in a cactus pose, elbows forward, hands back, gaze up, reach back, release your hands down. Step your back foot forward. Place your hands to your low back. Lift yourself up. Reach up. Reach way back with the hands wide apart. Exhale, take your hands to the earth. Step your right foot back. Step your left foot back. Come to downward facing dog. In downward facing dog, lift your heels high like you're on tiptoes. Bend your knees. Lift your sit bones high for a nice lumbar curve. And just move your pelvis, do the right side, back to center, to the left side so that you can bring your awareness to the side body. And again, back to the right side, through center to the left side, back to center. With your sit bones lifted, see if you can keep that nice lumbar curve by coming toward straight legs, and reach your right leg up. This time allow the right hip to go higher than the left. Bend your right knee for a nice opening. Nice lengthening in the quadriceps. Release your right foot down. Take your left leg up, lift it high, bend your left knee. Nice stretch there, both to the inner right thigh and the top of the left thigh. Release your left foot down, come to all fours position. Now lower yourself to the mat. Interlace your fingers once you're on the mat. Have your elbows a little narrower than your shoulders are. Press your forearms down. We'll get a little bit more arm work like we were working in a previous practice. Tuck your toes under. Lift your pelvis up. Lift your knees up and walk yourself toward your elbows. Release your head. Now do the same thing that we just did. Lift your right leg up, bend your right knee. Keep the forearms pressing down. Release your right foot. Take your left leg up, lift it high. Bend your left knee. Release it down. Step back to a plank position. Lower your knees, the tops of the thighs, the pelvis. Place your hands right alongside your ribs. On the in-breath, draw your heart forward. On the exhale breath, to soften. 2 more times. In-breath, heart reaches forward. Exhale breath, soften. 1 more. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, soften. Come through all fours position. In all fours position, take your right knee right to the middle of the mat. Take your left knee back. Now in your pigeon pose, if you can, take your right knee toward the right edge without any knee pain, by all means, go do that. But for many of us, just keeping the right thigh parallel to the right edge of the mat makes a lot more sense. Now come down to your forearms. And as you come to your forearms, just to get a little bit more alertness in the back leg, rather than letting it just kind of hang out, tuck your toes under, lift your knee up so that you get a more energetic action with the left leg. Keep your inner thigh lifted in the back leg. Just let yourself just kind of soften down. If you'd like to stack your hands and press your head to the stacked hands, go ahead and do that. The audio just gets a little funky if I do that. But just allow yourself to just come to know the breath. Come to just bring your awareness to the action as we do this practice of assimilation, doing both shoulder work and hip work. Just kind of bring your awareness to the practice in a way that serves both of those areas nicely. Now come back to all fours position. Step your left knee forward. Again, left thigh parallel for most of us, or if you can, take your left knee to the side and maybe even bring your right foot closer to the right edge of the mat. Come down to your forearms. Tuck your back toes under. Lift your knee up. Just get this nice fullness here, this nice engagement of the back leg. Tune into your breath. Bring your awareness to the pelvic area, to the back body, and how it expands so fully in this pose where the organs are rather contracted. So you bring fullness to the back body. Release your back knee down. Come to downward facing dog. So step back and do that same action that we did before, where the heels lift, where your knees bend so that you can lift your sit bones high, and just move side to side to bring your awareness to the sides of the body. You're just assimilating all these actions from the pelvis all the way up to the shoulders. Just bring your awareness through lengthening the side body. Come back to the center position, trying to keep the lumbar curve. Draw the heels down toward the mat. And walk yourself up to the front of the mat. Place your hands to your low back and rise up. Come to a wide stance. In your wide stance, turn your right toes out. Bend your right knee. Take your arms up in a cactus pose. Draw your right elbow under your left. Maybe you can take your hands in a prayer position. Draw your elbow down toward your right knee. but keep your back legs strong. Root down through the strength of the back leg to inhale, rise up and free your arms. Come to the opposite side, so turn your left toes out, bend your left knee, so the legs are in the form of Virabhadrasana 2. Now have the arms create this nice opening for the shoulders by taking your left elbow under your right, and then have your hands together. Keep your back leg strong. Draw your elbows toward your inner knee. See if you can just drop a little bit lower in your pose. Root down through the back foot. Lift yourself up out of the pose. Release your hands. Turn your left toes in, your right toes out. Bend your knee. Now in this form of Virabhadrasana number 2, have your elbows forward, come nice and wide in a cactus pose. Just reach your hands out, palms facing up this time. Keep this nice fullness of the upper chest and reach your hand down toward the inner knee, maybe even lower. Maybe you can use the arm against the inner knee to get just a little bit more opening. From there, reach your lifted arm over your head. Keep your back leg so strong as you root down. Inhale, lift yourself up. Release your hands. Come to the opposite side. So turn your left toes out. Come to the form of Virabhadrasana 2. Take your forearms forward. Bring them nice and wide apart. Take your hands slightly back to open the upper chest. Reach out. Keep your back leg strong. Take your front hand down to the inner knee. Just work the inner knee against the arm. Go a little bit lower. Reach over. Keep your back leg really strong. And root down to lift yourself up, to come out of the pose and release your hands. Come to a seated pose now. In your seated pose, create the form of a windmill, or as some people call it, that 90-90 sit. So have your feet active. Place your hands right in front of your heart. Turn toward your right knee. Draw forward, just bowing nicely. Lift yourself up. Come to the opposite side. So once again, you've created the 90-degree angle with both legs. Turn toward the left. Bow forward. Rise up. A little bit faster the second time. So draw over to the right side. Maybe you can bow a little bit more forward. As you do, this left hip leaves the earth a little bit more. See if you can keep your left leg active even as the hip leaves the earth. Inhale, rise up. Other side, exhale, draw deeper into the forward fold. And inhale, rise up. Now come to Baddha Konasana with your feet together. So as you come to feet together, hold on to the shin bones, lift up, keep that nice elongation of the spine. Keep your right foot where it is. Swing your left leg back. As you swing your left leg back, similar to what we were just doing, it has a nice opening in the front side of the body. You can tuck your toes under there and come to a form of the pigeon pose again. For many knees, this doesn't work, so what we were doing before is to have what we did before was to allow the thigh bone to become parallel to the mat. So if the knee is not happy, please do whatever it takes to make the knee happy. Now bow forward just as we did before. With the left hand at the right kneecap, take the right hand behind you, turn your heart, and just get this nice opening here. Release your hand down and come back to Baddha Konasana with your feet in that prayer position. So as you press your feet firmly, take hold of your shin bones so that you can rock forward on your sits bones and open your heart. In this practice of assimilation, we're working the action of both the hips and the upper arms to get a nice flow in our practice. Now reach your right leg back. So lean over to your left, swing your right leg back, and just kind of check it out. For you, it might be that 90-90 sit or that pinwheel pose again. But for some of us, maybe we can come to a little bit deeper form of this version of pigeon pose or Ekapadarajikopatasana. So as you draw into the pose, again, just being careful on this side if the knee is happy or not. The knee can be over to the left edge of the mat. As you come down toward the floor, take hold of the left kneecap with the right hand. Turn your heart. Let's get this nice twisting action here in the pose. And release out of the pose to come to lie on your back. As you come to lie on your back, draw your right knee in. And just like we've been working a lot of hip action in pigeon pose and lunges, see if you could create that form of pigeon pose on your back. For some of us, it might be more accessible to bend the left knee and park your foot down. If you can straighten it, that's fine too. Draw your right ankle just a little bit closer to your chest and just move side to side. Again, if you can, extend your left leg without the left thigh popping up too much. By all means, do that. But just kind of create a little bit more opening for yourself here in this supine pigeon pose. And once you've opened the hip nicely, take hold of the right outer edge of the foot with your right hand. Draw the right knee a little bit closer and take the left hand to the top of the left thigh, urging that to draw down. So you're in upside down lunge right now. Now release your right foot to the mat. Draw your left knee in. Give it a hug in. Find your heel or cradle your shin, whatever works for you. And draw the heel a little bit closer to you. See if you can encourage the left knee to draw a little farther from you. And do some rocking action side to side. You can extend the right leg if you wish, just to open this side of the body, this pelvic area. And as soon as you feel like you've got a little bit more of an opening, grab hold of the baby toe side of the foot with the ankle right over the knee, with the right hand pressing the top of the right thigh down. Just keep this nice engagement of the leg as you get a nice stretch to the inner groin area. And you can release the foot down. Come to Baddha Konasana again with your feet together. Press your elbows down with the elbows, with the arms bent. Have the palms face each other. Squeeze your feet in toward one another and lift your pelvis up. Press your head back. Get a little bit more space between your chest and your chin. Release your pelvis down. Release your arms to your side. Extend your left leg and your right leg. Close your eyes. We assimilated two practices. One focusing on shoulder strength and flexibility. One focused on pelvic flexibility through pigeon pose. As you lie in Savasana, it's your time to assimilate those actions, to understand in your body today some openings that you had, what you learned from your body. Allow your pelvis to be very heavy. Your breath to be very free and natural. Enjoy this time that you've given yourself to focus on your body, on your breath, on your actions to open the pelvis, create more strength and flexibility in your shoulders. Enjoy your Savasana. Namaste.